Hey guys, it's Pi, and welcome to the very long and anticipated Top 5 Best Tradelands Trade Ships! So as you might have guessed, in a game called Tradelands, trading is a big part, and you need to be able to have a good trade ship in order for you to trade so you can win Tradelands. Well, you can't really win Tradelands, but you can trade in Tradelands, and that'll make it easier to, trade further in Tradelands so you can do your trading without getting compromised in Tradelands. Wasn't that confusing enough? I already recorded this before, so I have a really good idea of what I want to talk about, but last recording ran 38 minutes and nobody wants to watch that, so this time I'm going to try and make it as brief as possible. So what are we going to be looking at? Well, for each ship, we're going to be analyzing each of its statistics. We're talking about speed, cargo capacity, health, armament, and we're also going to go into some more in-depth strategies and things that you really only start to learn once you get the ship and you get to start become acquainted with it. This is going to be a full, complete guide on what trade ships you should get in Tradelands. If you want. I mean, if you're a pirate, I respect that. I'm a pirate boy myself. Not right now, but I was before. So I know what it's like. Alright, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on the top 5 best trade ships of Tradelands. Walk right over here to Carl Stark. And we'll come into this menu. And we will look at number 5. Number 5 best Tradelands trade ship is the Marlin. When you say trade ship, a lot of people don't really think about Marlin. Marlin is a 3-mast schooner. The Marlin is the perfect ship for any captain that wants to take a lot of cargo someplace quickly. It's mercantile, hull strength 8,000, max armament 8 times size 7 cannons, which is your 36-pounder 42 carronades, max cargo 10, speed 7. So let's talk about what all this means. Your Marlin comes available at level 6, and it's very cheap, 340 oak, 55 iron, 26,500 doubloons. This is a good mid-game ship that you can even take to the late game if you really want to. The Marlin, with its 4 cannons on each broadside, is extremely powerful. It has the same armament as some of the top tier combat ships in the game, like your Phoenix, like your Serpent, your Otter, your Badger, all those great ships. This has the same firepower as them. It's got decent capacity. Your Marlin's got 10. Nothing to scoff at. Not the highest we're going to see today. Actually, one of the lowest we're going to see today. But, alright, sorry I had to make a cut right there. Tradelands decided to glitch out and the model disappeared. Where were we? Okay, it's got 10 cargo. Nothing to scoff at. That's pretty good, especially for level 6. It's mid-game ship. You could take to the late game. The Marlin is fast. It's speed 7, and it's a true speed 7. It's good enough to outrun some pirates. Pirates in a stiletto or a shark, they're going to be able to run you down. Pirates in a Phoenix or another Marlin or an Orca or even a Manta, they might be able to catch up with you. But the Marlin, with its amazing broadside, you can defend yourself. Now, some of the cons about the Marlin: in combat, your cannons, they're pretty exposed. You're going to have a cannon here, a cannon here, a cannon here, and then another cannon here, I think. And they're pretty exposed. They're easy to snipe off by an enemy. And the Marlin, because it is so low right here, it's pretty easy to jump on from the water onto your ship and board. The Marlin has good turning speed, so if you know what you're doing at the helm, you can try and counteract that before it happens, and maybe even possibly run away, or even come out to a slugfest. Now, 8,000 health, it's pretty bad. It's not the best, but it's going to keep you alive long enough to either escape, if you know what you're doing, or to at least put a decent fight back if you have a crew. And the Marlin is a combat ship that you can literally take as far in the game as you want. This, I think, right here at level 6 is the first ship, the first multi-role ship that you can carry to the late game and have no problems with. The Marlin's really not talked about because it's only a mid-game ship, but in my opinion, it's a really great booster to boost up your level and to really thrive in the mid to late game. Number 4, the Beaver. When you say trade ship, This is probably one of the first things that comes to mind. Your Beaver is a barkentine. Pirates will think twice before attacking a fully equipped Beaver. I will contest that. It's a mercantile, 10,000 health, 6 times size 7 cannons, 2 times size 3 cannons on your stern, and then 2 swivels. Max cargo 12, so it's a 2 cargo increase from your Marlin. Speed 7. I'll talk more about that later. Okay, so the Beaver, it's got good capacity, 12. That's decent. That's one of the highest in the game. A lot of ships either sit at 10 or 12 cargo in the game. And you'll see this later as we go on and on and on and on and on as we get closer to number 1 on our list. The Beaver's got a decent broadside. You got 36 long, 42 carronades, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You have a lot of blind spots, though. You've only got 2 stern guns, which are 18-pounder long guns. So you're really only able to fire from about here and here to here-ish. You're not going to be able to fire at anything from your bow. That's not good. Your cannons are pretty well protected by this lip. They're not going to get sniped off very easily. It's got good health, 10,000. It's nothing to be mad at. The Beaver is really hard to board. Either you got to jump on right here, or you got to try and use this ladder. While it's moving, the Beaver is almost impossible to board unless if you get rammed by another ship, or the Beaver is stationary. Unfortunately, the Beaver is a level 8 ship, and it's quite expensive. 530 oak, 80 iron, 46,000 doubloons. Level 8 ship, so we're almost done with the game by that point. 46,000 doubloons it's a decent amount. 530 oak, that is a lot. You can get that, if you're really dedicated, you can get 530 oak in 3 or 4 hours. And it's not that bad. Now, the Beaver is a really big target for pirates. The waterline sits about here. They're going to be able to hit you from far away, and you probably won't be able to outrun them, because although it says it's speed 7, it's really more like a speed 6.5, and your turn speed is really crappy, not going to lie. You're not going to be able to outrun or outmaneuver any pirates that know what they're doing in a Beaver. And you got way too many blind spots. And the parts where your broadside is strong, it's still one-upped by other late-game pirate ships. So that's why the Beaver's only number 4. But if you're in a server without any pirates, it's fine. And even if you are in a server with pirates, you'll probably be alright. They probably won't come and attack you unless if they're veterans, they're seasoned, and the pirates know what they're doing. Alright, moving on to number 3. Now, I wasn't sure where to put number 3 because number 3 is a really great ship all around. But we'll talk about some of its aspects. So the number 3 best trade ship in Tradelands, the Serpent. Now, the Serpent is like no other ship in the game except for the Kraken, in that it is a junk Eastern Asia, or in the Tradelands, belonging to the theoretical country of Inyola. This is kind of where that ship originates from. So the Serpent, it's got decent capacity. It's got 10 capacity. The Serpent's junk rig sails make her easier to sail upwind. That's really important. We'll talk about that later. It's a junk, multi-purpose, 11,000 health, so we're starting to get into good health range. This is above the Beaver. Max armament, 8 times size 7 cannons, same as the Marlin, same as your higher tier ships, and then you got 2 swivels, speed 7, and then you also get a speed bonus going upwind because of its junk rig sails. Alright, so Serpent, yeah, decent capacity, 10, nothing to scoff at, great broadside. Serpent's a great combat ship, great speed, speed 7, going upwind you're faster. You can outrun any pirate who's in anything less than a steam engine or an ironclad fairly easily. Your cannons, they're well protected by this lip. It's very hard to board the Serpent. You basically got to jump right here at the lowest point of the arc or try to make it onto the ladder. The driver is extremely well protected. You're not going to get sniped in this little rick shack. The Howland Guard Navy, we did a training run once where we put a Serpent, and then we had a stationary Phoenix, and the Phoenix tried to shoot the helm of the Serpent, which is the wheel, and it took way too long. It took like 30 25 shots per person. You're not going to die in a Serpent if you're helming. And you'll probably be able to run away too. Now, some cons about the Serpent is that it's expensive. It's level 8 ship. It's not as expensive as other level 8 ships. And the Serpent, still a big target. Your waterline's going to sit right about here. Pirates are going to be able to hit it. But with the Serpent, you can fire. You got a really strong broadside with the Serpent. You can fire back. Serpent's a great combat ship too. It was in my top 5 best combat ship videos too. I forget which one I put it as. If I was professional, I probably would have remembered. Now, some more downsides with the Serpent is that you got no guns here at the bow. You got no guns here at the stern. So basically, while you have a really strong broadside, there's nothing you can do if you're running away to fire back, or if you're trying to engage someone. You don't have a mortar or anything. Kraken is more suited to that. All right, so number 2. The ship you guys have all been waiting for, spoiler alert. The number 2 best Tradelands trading ship is the Atlas. When you think trade ship, this is what comes to mind. Your big, giant, ship of the line, probably a slave ship making the making the middle passage. Your Atlas is an India man. The Atlas's awesome cargo capacity and armament more than make up for her lack of speed. I'll contest that point more on that later. Hull strength 18,000, very good. Max armament 10 times size 7 cannons, that's 36 longs. Max cargo 18. The Atlas with 18 cargo holds more than any other ship in the game, but unfortunately, its speed 6. It is ludicrously slow. And its turning speed is ludicrously slow. So you're going to have a gun here, 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 another one here, 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 and then you're going to have... Is this... No, the Atlas doesn't even have stern guns. Wow. One of the most important things with the Atlas is that never take an Atlas out to combat. Don't do it. You have way too many blind spots, you're way too slow, and you're basically an elephant for a target. Now, while you have outstanding capacity at 18 cargo slots, you have outstanding health at 18,000, which is the same as the Poseidon, the ironclad modeled after the USS Monitor. And you got a decent broadside. It's a stronger broadside than Phoenix, Serpent, Marlin, those other ships we talked about. Unfortunately, though, you're not really able to use that broadside because, let's face it, you're slow, you turn slow, you're a huge target, you're very easy to board, you're not going to outrun anything, you got blind spots at the front, you got blind spots at the back, you got blind spots straight back. Oh man, this thing is so easy to bow lock, so easy to stern lock. Just shove a ship right here and boom, 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 boom. Shove a ship right here, boom, 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 boom. You're going to get sunk in an Atlas if the pirates have any clue what they're doing. Like I said, it's really easy to board too, because you see how it kind of bumps out. All you got to basically do is jump and get on literally anywhere on the ship. And I'll go and kind of show what that looks like while I talk about another aspect of the Atlas. The Atlas is a level 10 ship. And once you reach level 10, you're capped out on experience. Now, the main reason you trade is not really to make money ever since fleeting was patched. Fleeting, for those of you who don't know, is when you get into a private server. And this is not an Atlas, by the way. It's the Astra. It's the combat variant of the Atlas. But it shares the same hull. I'm just going to show you how easy it is to jump on. Doot, 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 doot. Extremely easy to jump on. Anywhere on the ship you can get on. Now, like I was saying, once you reach level 10, you're capped out. You don't really need experience. What you used to be able to do with fleeting is that you get into a private server, you'd invite everyone to one crew, and you'd use the fleet glitch to get like 20 Atlases in one crew, and you'd make a couple 100,000 doubloons in a few hours. And that's how most people got their Tradelands wealth. Now, of course, today you can even buy 100,000 doubloons with 1,000 Robux if you really want. But if you're going to make an Atlas, you got to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it to build this big, giant, expensive, late-game ship that I'm not even going to be able to get that much out of. It's not good for combat. Now, it's great for trading, but like my point right here, once you reach level 10 in the game, there's not a huge point to trade. And oh man, I got this glitch again. Well, while we're here, 900 oak, 84,000 doubloons, 200 iron, plus all the cannons. It's a good trade ship. It's really the best, to quote, best trade ship, but it's so unbalanced for combat, and it's way too slow, and it's way too expensive and unnecessary by the time you reach level 10. You can still trade with it, and you can still be successful with it. This is just why it's not number one. Now I gotta reload the game. Now before we get to our number one best Tradelands trade ship, we're gonna have to look at some honorable mentions, and I'll make these as quick as possible. So our first honorable mention is the one you guys have all been waiting for. You probably thought it was going to be in first place, but you're scratching your heads. How could that possibly be first place? Of course, I'm talking about, if I can find it, the Goose. When you think Black Pearl, this is your Goose. Back 3 years ago during the alpha, this was the ship that everybody thought was a max ship. It's big, it's giant, boom. Now the Goose, it holds 14 cargo, which is the second highest in the game. It's actually not that bad. You've got you've got 4 broadsides of size 6 cannons, so 32 is not as strong as it could be, have only 12,000 health. The Goose's wide hull allows it to carry an abundance of cargo while still being decently armed. It goes speed 6, it's slow. You do get a stern gun, which is useful, but you don't get any bow guns. That's more for the widget, the combat variant of the Goose. Now, why the Goose is not even in the top 5 best trading ships is that I would take out an Atlas before I would take out a Goose. And I take out a Marlin before I take out a Goose. I take out a Beaver before I take out a Goose. Because when a pirate sees a Goose, they're going to eat it as if it was a turkey. Well, eat it as if it was a goose, eat it as if it was a turkey. I don't know, a lot of people eat goose around the world, but that's besides the point. The point is, it's way too big of a target. It is massive, and it only carries 14 cargo, and it goes speed 6. So ask yourself this: would you rather go speed 7 and carry 12 cargo, or would you go speed 6 and probably die, and then go even slower at speed 6 for 14 cargo? No. I would take a Marlin, I'd take a Beaver, I'd take a Fox, I'd take a Serpent, I'll take an Atlas, I'll even take a Cutlass, probably take a Stiletto over Goose any day of the week. Now Goose, it's actually not that bad at combat. 32 pound long guns, they're underpowered. But with the Goose, because the Goose sits so high in the water, you actually have more range than other ships. It's got a decent broadside, but it doesn't have that many blind spots. You got a blind spot at the front. You don't have a blind spot at the back because you got a stern. And it's okay, but it's not preferable. That's why it's only an honorable mention. Now, our second honorable mention, I mentioned it earlier, is the Cutlass. Now, why is the Cutlass on here as our second honorable mention? The Cutlass is speed 8. It's very fast. It holds 10 cargo. You might even be able to argue that the Marlin is better than the Cutlass. The problem is that the Cutlass is at level 9. So you're basically done with the game by the time you reach level 9. And then, even then, the only upgrade it has from the Marlin is speed, smaller target. Cutlass is more expensive, 660 oak, 56,500 doubloons, 120 iron. I didn't talk about the Goose, though. Sorry, 1 second. 450 oak, 34,500 doubloons, 80 iron. Actually, not that much. Okay, back to the Cutlass. Where was I? Yeah, it's more expensive, like twice as expensive as a Marlin. You can buy almost 2 Marlins for what the price of a Cutlass is. It's level 9, basically done with the game. You don't really need to trade at that point. And if you're gonna get a Cutlass, it's very good for combat. Cutlass is very fast. It's got a good broadside. It's got size 8 guns here, and even swivels. But who cares about swivels? But if you're gonna get a Cutlass, then you probably want to get a Stiletto instead, because Stiletto is better for combat. Cutlass has 10,000 health, so it's even less than a Serpent. It's not that preferable. Although it is a good trading ship, at this point in the game, once you get to level 9, it's not the best anymore. So moving on to our next honorable mention. This is actually one that is early in the game. We're talking about the Pelican. Pelican comes in at level 4. It's your early mid-game connection between something like the Sparrow or the Heron and then the Marlin. So let's talk a little bit about leveling. I suggest you go Goldfish, Sparrow, Heron, Pelican, Marlin, and then from there you can do whatever you want. Once you get the Marlin, I find the Marlin to be the gateway of all ships. That's why I just love talking about it. Now the Pelican, extremely cheap to build, 8,000 balloons, 160 oak, 35 iron, has 2 size 6 cannons, so that's your 32 long guns. They're pretty good. Pelican is slow though. It holds 8 cargo. 8 cargo, which is really good at level 4. And it goes speed 5, so it's an improvement on the Heron, which also holds 8 cargo, but goes speed 4. And then the Pelican also has more health. Actually, if you really want to, you can take your Heron and then go to your Marlin, or you can go Heron, Pelican, Marlin, whatever you want. But a lot of people don't talk about a Pelican, so today I'm going to talk about the Pelican. Our next honorable mention is the Peasant. So the Peasant, I don't really recommend getting the Peasant because I don't actually have it written down. I have the wiki open though. Let's go search up Peasant, if I could spell it right. Peasant. It's a level 5 ship, so you're already close to getting the Marlin. It's slower than the Marlin. It's got much less, less health than the Marlin. It's got a much less armament than the Marlin. While it is a good ship at the time, I'd just suggest waiting for Marlin. And then finally, our last honorable mention is more of a couple between the Astra and the Prometheus. They both hold 10 cargo. They're basically like the Atlas, but they're not designed for trading. They only hold 10, like I said before, while the stinking Atlas is almost twice that at 18. You can have a Prometheus and Atlas and use those for trading. They're not that bad. But, once again, that whole problem, these are level 10 ships. You're basically done with the game already. So now, without further ado, the number 1 best trading ship for Tradelands, in my opinion, drumroll please. I'll probably add an actual sound effect of the drumroll, and that'll be much more preferable. The Fox. Now, before you all go in the comments and yell, actually, go in the comments and yell for a second, because I'll tell you that you're wrong. Or maybe you agree with me. You're like that 0.1% of the population that actually agrees with this. The Fox is a great trade ship. The Fox is basically a Beaver, but you stuck an engine onto it, and you put on a couple more cannons. Alright, pirates will think twice before attacking a fully equipped Fox. Press E to toggle steam engine, requires coal to use engine, 1 coal per minute. It's a steam ship, rolled armor transport, hull strength 10,000, same as the Beaver. Max armament, you get a mortar. You get a mortar on the bow, which is really important. You get a mortar right here, which is a 36-pound mortar. So now you don't have a blind spot in the front anymore, which is a problem that the Beaver suffered from. You also have 6 times size 7, which is the same as the Beaver. Those go right here. You also have 18-pounders on your stern, so you can fire back. And then you also have 2 swivels. So you have more firepower in the Fox. You got a steam engine as the Fox with the same cargo capacity. Now, some drawbacks to the Fox is that it's obviously going to be more expensive than a Beaver. And that's because the steam engines. Steam engines, as much as you may be tempted to call it a day and be lazy and take a Beaver or a Badger instead of a Phoenix, 2,400 iron for 4 blessed steam engine parts. It's not that bad. Alright, you can do that. If you just grind 100 iron a day, it's not gonna be that bad. Trust me. So what are some of the benefits of a steam engine in combat? Well, 1, you can run away from any pirate with anything less than a steam engine. The only thing that's going to be able to catch up to you in a steam engine is a Phoenix, a Dragon, a Poseidon, a Neptune. And how many pirates are going to go out raiding regular ships in a Poseidon or a Neptune? They're not. They're not. Or a Dragon, actually. A lot of pirates don't use Dragons. I think Dragon is underrated. Just like how I think Marlin's underrated. So yeah, as a Fox, basically, your only threat is going to be another Phoenix. Phoenix, for some reason, is slightly faster than the Fox, even though on paper they are both speed 7. Doesn't really make that much sense. For those of you who don't know, your speed with your engine is 4, which is the same as the Heron for the Fox. It's 4 for all steam engines except for the Steamfish and the Dragon, but that's getting off point. As the Fox, you get all the same benefits as the Beaver. You get a mortar, and then you get the ability to run away from basically any pirate in the game that you want. And that's why it's the #1 best combat ship. Combat ship, the #1 best trading ship in Tradelands. Although Fox, it can hold its own in combat. I'm not going to lie. Another benefit of the steam engine is, say if you're fishing and you need to get to Freeport from Nova, that's a really convenient place to use a steam engine. Only takes like 5 or 6 coal, which is really not that bad. So anyways, guys, those are my top 5 best Tradelands trading ships for Tradelands. God, I've said trade so much. My throat is tired. I've just been talking all day. Now, if there's a ship on here that you didn't, or if there's a ship on here you didn't agree with, you can go down in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer questions and elaborate more about why I put that ship in that particular place. Or if there was a ship that I didn't include that you think should have been included, you can also go down in the comments right there, and I'll try to explain for you my methodology. Anyways, I'm a veteran of Tradelands. Ever since the Alpha, I put 2 accounts through. I've been in multiple great pirate crews. I've been in multiple great navies. I have basically every ship in the game I want. I have an amazing house. I'm very interactive with the community. I hold auctions. I have decent wealth in Tradelands. Not super wealthy. But being basically an expert on the subject, these are the trading ships that I believe are the best. I mean, you can ask anyone else, too. They'll basically say the same thing. They might switch around Serpent or Atlas, or they might take out the Marlin and put something else in. These are all great trade ships. Get any one of these if you can, if you want to be trading. Anyways, leave a like, really helps out. Subscribe if you've not yet subscribed. See you guys next time.